and they haven't accepted the fact that you have outgrown that version of yourself, so that they can't even relate to you anymore. And now suddenly you're the problem, right? You're the problem.
Everyone else that was my friend, they didn't want to be my friend anymore when I left the church and came out. So I don't have those people in my life anymore. Welcome to a conversation between two friends.
This is Alice.
And I'm David.
And this is Truthfully Yours.
We are by no means experts or teachers, just speaking honestly within the bounds of friendship. If you found your way here, maybe there's something in that honesty meant for you too.
We invite you to lean in, and perhaps you'll recognize your own journey in ours.
Not every friendship is supposed to last, but every friendship will teach you a lesson. Some are for the party, some are for the drama, and some, the rare ones, are there to love and accept you for who you are now. This is a conversation about the 3 types of friendships you'll have in life and how to know which ones are worth keeping and which ones you're supposed to outgrow. This is Truthfully Yours. Now here's Alice and David.
So David, I was, scrolling on social media. I came across this theory about the 3 loves that you're going to have in your life. And since that doesn't really apply to me, I kind of thought about how does this apply to me when it comes to friendships? And so upon further reflection, this is what I came up with. Our first friends that we make from the time we are young, you could say they are the surface level ones. They're fun, they're exciting, they're your party friend. It's fun until you need something from them for real. Then as you get older, you have several types of these types of friends. The intense friendship, the messy one, the codependent one, the one you vent to all the time. And there's always drama, but you feed off each other, so it works. But those are the same friends that can also annoy you, and they drain you, and they also betray you in weird ways. And I have experienced this, and I'm sure you have experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it in a previous episode, some of the friends that I've had, and where you're actually trauma bonding and you're not connecting. And then there is the peace friendship. This is the third friendships that you're going to have in life. And I think this comes when you're older, right? And they are the quiet ones. They're the ones that have seen you at your worst and stayed. And you don't have to perform. And there is no scorekeeping. This is the friend that makes you feel safe and not small. And you don't have to talk every day. But when you do, it's real. And so, it just makes you feel good. And I think that's where you and I are. We're at that older stage of being friends, all about peace and good vibes. And so, each friendship obviously teaches you something.
So I think of the first type of friendship as sort of like my friends I had growing up, who we just did everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those friendships last forever. Sometimes they do.
Because maybe you evolve through the stages.
And maybe it's like those types of friendships are allowed to grow apart and that's considered normal. But still also you get a Christmas card every year. Or you get a check-in and then maybe you see them at a party and you're like, oh, hey, how you been? And then you start talking. And you're like, wow, this person's grown up a lot. So have I. And it's more like that third type of friendship where you feel safe talking with them. And for me, all of those first level friendships, except for maybe my sisters, I don't know if that can even count. Yeah, and I would say some of my cousins maybe fit that category, but other than that, everyone else that was my friend, they didn't want to be my friend anymore when I left the church and came out. So I don't have those people in my life anymore. So I would call those my first type of friendships. And I would say in terms of growth, in terms of the most ground covered in my life, I learned maybe the most from those friendships because you're beginning to define who you are in big ways. And when that happens, it exposes big differences in people and how they view the world and how they want their relationships to be. And then the second kind, those types of friends. And yeah, I've had a lot of those friends as well. And I've noticed with those kind of friends, yeah, you try to sit down and have a serious conversation about your feelings or your emotions and they go AWOL. They're not there. Once I've kind of graduated to the third stage, I didn't want anything to do with type 2 friendships anymore.
I think there's a lot of overlap in the types of friends. When you're young and you're immature, it's not likely you're going to have that type 3 friendship, right? Because you just don't have the life experience to develop those types of friendships.
I think it's interesting now. I think that I've had enough of those like wholehearted friends. What do you call them? Like soul family friends, where now I feel like confident enough in my growth and being like, no, I've learned a lot. I've gone through the fucking weeds, and so I've learned, so have other people, and it's made all of us who've come out the other side better. And now I'm okay with like type 2 friends, type 1 friends. Like I'll be your friend. Like as long as you're not openly attacking me, like I have nothing but love for you. And even if you are, nothing but love.
Level 2 friendship is pretty fun at times. It can be, right? Level 1 friendship, I love because those are the people like maybe your classmate you can go out with and have a drink with. That's probably the case with a lot of people in our friendship circle that we play pickleball with. You know how I think about our group of people in terms of friendship? I always think about like the Wonder Years. Like we're all just young, just having a good time. Or the Sandlot. We just show up to the Sandlot and we play baseball, but in this case, it'd be pickleball. And we do some trash talking. We goof off. And for 2 hours, all of us, even though the age range is so vast, but for 2 hours, we're all like 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds. And I love it. It's just so much fun. And that just fills me so much. It's like that inner child in me is just so happy to have that kind of innocent play, even in other pickleball groups, David, which is why I can't be in other pickleball groups anymore, because I think when there are so many women, especially, there's trauma, always trauma. And they're all talking about each other.
You haven't played in any gay leagues, clearly.
Okay, you win. You win. No, but they're always talking about each other because there's always hurt feelings involved in the women's groups. So I didn't get invited to this. Oh, it's okay. Or, this person did this, or do you know what this person did? And then it's like, even if you don't want to be involved in it, you're involved by association. And I hate that. I hate that. So I have removed myself from those groups. And then what I did? I did what every smart person should do. Form the group that you want to be in. And that's exactly what I did. I just formed a group where all of us, we don't have to be so connected in each other's lives that we can just literally just show up and, like I said, just enjoy ourselves for 2 hours, go home. And it's not like, I need to know the gossip of everything that's going on.
You know what? That is like so funny because it's so true to me. Like I was thinking about how like I've played pickleball countless times with how many of the different people, and I know their names, like maybe what they do, like roughly their age, like that kind of thing. But I'm just like, I more know like, oh, they have a really good third shot drop, and then show up to like the pickleball group Christmas party, and people are bringing their spouses and like making food and like wearing like clothes that aren't exercise clothes. And I'm just like, wow, who are these people? It literally feels like, you've seen them at school every day and like just like played on the playground. And then now all of a sudden, like there's adults in the room and you're like, oh shit.
Okay, so that's really funny because I completely identify with this, because usually when I show up to the courts, I have baseball cap on, ponytail, right? Athleisure wear. And then, I host these parties a couple times a year. And my hair is down. I have a little bit more makeup on, and I'm a little bit more well kept, and I have actual real clothes on. And people are like, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry I show up uggos to the court.
Yeah, they're like, you're usually so ugly. What happened?
but I am a real human being. And when I'm not on the court, I actually look like a functioning adult, which is always funny because the reaction's like, whoa, but it's so funny. We go from the playground to the party, and at the party, we're all adults again.
I have a twist for you. Are you ready?
Okay, yes.
What if at any point in our lives, we could be a type 1, a type 2, or a type 3 friendship?
Yes, we are.
And anyone could be that to you. Like literally any person you meet could be one of those 3 for you, but it depends where you are on your journey.
Right, of course. I mean, that's not even that's real. I mean, that's how it is. That's how the life works. Friendships, relationships work. Right? But here's my twist to you. Think about those relationships that you've had with people where maybe you were both in a type 2 level friendship, right? Maybe you went to high school together, you went to college together, maybe you were in a fraternity together. And then 10 years down the line from there, you're like in your 30s and your priorities have changed. The things that you want in life have changed. Your friends still see you as a certain version, and they haven't accepted the fact that you have outgrown that version of yourself, so that they can't even relate to you anymore. And now suddenly you're the problem, right? You're the problem.
I guess I'm the problem.
Your priorities have shifted and they don't know who you are. And now you're not fun anymore. And now all of a sudden you're the cause of their angst. And then, the friendship, it graduates or it gets reshuffled back to a type 1. Because I've been thinking about this. I think this is especially true with siblings. That maybe you grew up a certain way and the way you identify with each other, there's a certain construct there. And then maybe somebody in that family doesn't want to live in that construct anymore. So they do the hard work to go through whatever transformative process that they're going through. And now they're a completely different person. But yet maybe those people in your family see you still as the 10-year-old you. Or in my case, maybe the 14-year-old you who stole their parents' car and got in a car accident the same night and didn't know how to drive. I was very reckless when I was young. But, I wouldn't do that today. But maybe that's how they still look at you as, oh, you're that reckless person still.
They don't trust you.
And they can't imagine that you're not that same person. So the only way they can relate to you is relating to you as that other version, which, to me, it's like, oh, that person already died. I had a funeral for her. She's gone. R.I.P. R.I.P. And the people I want to invest most of my time into are the ones that also give me peace. And the ones that don't give me peace, I want to spend as little time with them as possible because I just don't have an endless amount of energy to give. Obviously each level of friendship teaches you something. I think it's good to sometimes just reflect on what it is that you need in the stage of life you are in right now and give yourself permission to let some of those friendships go if you need to. And give yourself permission to find the friends that you need for this current version of yourself. Especially if most of your friends are holding you back and keeping you to a standard or a construct that you don't even identify with anymore.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, subscribe to Truthfully Yours wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes weekly on Thursdays. We'd love for you to share this with someone who might need to hear it. For more about the show and Alice and David, visit truthfullyyours.com.